Alright, in this video I'm going to talk about the Ambitious Card Plot. This is one of the most popular effects in card magic, and pretty much every magician I know does some version of this. And it's great. I mean, it's impromptu, it can be done with any deck, anytime, and it's scalable, meaning that depending on your situation, you can change it up. You can make it shorter, you can make it longer. It's just flexible in that kind of way. So for the uninitiated, the basic premise is that a card is selected, it's returned to the middle of the pack, and then you do a magic move, and the card jumps to the top. Okay, and this happens several times, each time being more impressive than the last. And that's really important because I see a lot of people who do the ambitious card, and it just seems really repetitive. It's like the same thing is happening over and over again. It's really important that each phase is more impossible than the last. It needs to build over time. Okay, so let's break it down. I'll give you some tips along the way. I'll give you some presentational ideas and the structure of the routine that I normally do. I switch it up sometimes, but more often than not, what I'm going to show you here is the routine that I do. Okay, so let's get into it. Okay, let's talk about the presentation first. Now, this is the kind of effect that lends itself to so many different kinds of presentations. You can come up with whatever suits you. But I'll give you some ideas of what I do and what I say when I do this trick. So I'll start off by handing the deck to the spectator, letting them shuffle, and then I'll say, you know, turn the cards face up, and just look through the cards, find one that really catches your attention. Okay, and then take it out and actually sign your name on it. Now, the signing part isn't crucial, but it's a good idea, especially for this trick, because it does make that selection more personal. And you know, sometimes people suspect that you're using a duplicate card when you do this effect, so this kind of debunks that theory. So as they're signing it, you say something like, you know, you could have picked any card in the deck, but for some reason you picked the Four of Clubs in this case. So that maybe that means something. Maybe that means that there's like a connection or a bond between you and this card. Okay, it sounds kind of weird, but let's try to prove it, or let's see if it's true. Okay, so I would say something like that. Okay, so let's get into phase number one. This is going to introduce the idea to the spectator. So they've signed their card, and what you're going to do is you need to control it to the second from the top position. Okay, so you can do this any number of ways. I'm assuming you have a basic understanding of sleight of hand and card control. But I'll put links to everything I'm referencing in the description box down below. So in this case, one thing that you might, or one way you might want to do it is have them return it to the pack, do a Hindu shuffle, card control to the top, link in the description, and then from there you can just double undercut the bottom card of the deck to the top. Okay, again, links in the description for that. So now their card is second from the top, and now I'll say something like, alright, so if you really do have this connection with the card, then when you call for it, it should come back to you, it should come to the top. Okay, so let's test it out. Ask them, you know, can you snap your fingers? Most people can. Okay, so you ask them to snap, boom, check it out. Your card just jumped right to the top. Now, that's a pretty cool moment right there. That should get a decent reaction. Okay, but I'm making it a bit weaker on purpose because I want the next phase to be stronger. Alright, so I want them to suspect that maybe I did do some card control, because in the next phase I'm going to destroy that possibility. Okay, so by the way, this was a double lift if you didn't catch that. This is my preferred method for the double lift. I'll put a link in the description box for that. But do any lift you want. You show that it's at the top, pause there for a second, talk, blah, 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 and then you say, okay, let's try it again. This time under test conditions or whatever. Okay, so you turn it back face down, you take off the top indifferent card, and then you say, okay, lift off about half the cards in the deck. So let's say they lift right there. You place what they think is their card right there, and then you tell them to place the rest of the cards right on top. And then without any funny moves, any funny movements, you just ask them to snap their fingers, and you say, look, check it out. You let them turn it over themselves. That's a powerful moment right there. You didn't do any moves, it just came right back to them. All right, let's move on to phase number 3. Now the first step is you're going to do this move. I don't know what it's called. If any of you know, go ahead and leave it in the comment section below. But it's a great move that will set you up. This is the situation you're in. You're going to spread through the cards, and you need to get a little pinky break above the bottom 2 cards. Okay, so that's easy to do once you've spread the cards out. Then you just square up again, and you're going to transfer that pinky break into a thumb break. Okay, now from here you're going to swing cut about half of the cards over to your left hand, and then you use your right hand cards to flip over their card. At this point you're going to push over, or you're going to push out their selected card about halfway. Okay, so I just used my right middle and ring fingers to contact that card at the middle, and then I push forward. Okay, at this point I'm going to release the cards that are being held by my thumb, by my right thumb. So that places 2 random cards on top of their card. And from here I do a wrist kill with my left hand. So I say, look at your card. You can clearly see it in the middle. Okay, now you want to make sure that as you do that wrist kill, you're covering these cards so that they don't see that there are cards on top of their cards. It's easy to do because you have your right hand packet for cover. So you just do this. You say, look, your card is clearly in the middle. At this point you're going to push it flush with the cards. And now when you turn your left hand palm up again, they're going to assume that this is their card because they just saw it right there, but this has actually been switched out for a random card. Okay, so what that looks like at speed, you're gonna be in this position. You say, look, you can see your card in the middle. Look, I'll just push it in, and this is the assumed selected card. At this point I'm going to break the right hand packet cards into 2. I just lift up with my first finger, and I slide their card, or what they think is their card, right in there. So I say, look, I'll put it in the middle, and I'll actually put some more cards on top. So from here what I do is I kind of change the grip, the way that I'm holding these left hand cards a little bit. I get under with my left hand fingers, and then I kind of just open up with my left thumb, like that. And then I slide this entire unit in between. So I say, look, I'll put a few more cards on top as well. So now they think their card is sticking out in the middle. In fact, it's actually second from the top. Okay, so now at this point you can very cleanly push their card in the middle, or so they think. And then you're going to say something like, this phase is nice because you say something like, I want to show you that this only works for you because it's your card, you have the connection. If anybody else snaps their fingers, it's not going to do anything. So if you have somebody else in the audience, you tell them, okay, go ahead, snap your fingers, let's see if it works. They snap, you say, nope, doesn't work. You do a single lift. If there's anybody else, you can do it again with them. No, it doesn't work. You can do it yourself. You say, look, even if I snap my fingers, it doesn't work. It only works when you snap your fingers. And at that point, you let them snap their fingers and you do your double lift. Boom, there it is. That's a really cool moment there. Because some people, after that second phase, they're going to assume that their card is on top the entire time. This debunks that theory as well. Okay, so you're setting up these different possibilities and then you're just killing them. That's why I like the structure of this routine. Alright, let's talk about phase number 4. Now, this is usually the final phase that I'll do, but if I have a high level of engagement from the spectators, then I might move on to a 5th phase. But for phase number 4, I'll do either one of 2 things. I'll show you both and then you pick whichever one you like best and use that. And if you do happen to do a 5th phase, then you just do whichever one you didn't use in phase number 4, if that makes sense. But here's the first option. Here's what happens. You say something like, okay, we're going to do it a little bit differently this time. You're going to turn the double back face down and then you're going to push over the top card. Outjog it about halfway. Now you're going to approach the back of the deck almost as if you're about to do a Hindu shuffle, and you're going to grab about 2/3 of the pack and you place them on top, and then you pick up about half of those cards and you say, here, can you hold on to these? You give them to the spectator and say, let's try it with just some of the cards. This will make it more difficult, or something like that. And then you slowly push it in. So they think this is their card, but it's not. Their card is actually right here on top of their packet. So it's set up perfectly. Slowly push this in and you say, okay, snap your fingers. Let's see if it still works. They snap. And now you act like you messed up a bit. All right. So you say, oh, okay, wait, let's try again. They snap again. Huh, that's interesting. Oh, that's because this actually isn't the top of the deck. What you're holding is the top of the deck, and the card is going to come back to you. So they turn over the top card of their packet, and boom, that's a big moment. It just jumped from over here all the way to over there while they were holding the packet. That's a really strong conclusion if you build it up right. So that's option number 1. Option number 2 is the famous pop-up move. I'm sure a lot of you have seen it before, but it goes something like this. So again, you do need to get their card second from the top, and then you do a double lift to turn those cards face up. And what you're going to say is something like, this time I'm going to do it so that you can see exactly the moment when the card jumps to the top, okay? So I push the, okay, well there's a few ways of doing this. I'll show you both. One way is you push both of those cards forward about halfway, and you're actually going to bend the cards. So you grab it from the outer edge here, and now you're going to crease the cards inwards like this. You say, look, I'll put a bend in it. And that way, when the card is face down, you'll still know exactly where it is. So you put that bend in it, and then you turn it face down. Now, okay, that's one way of bending it. The other method for bending that you might want to do, it might be a little bit safer, is you turn the cards face down. Actually, you hold it like this, billow grip, and then you bend like this. You say, look, I'll put a bend in it. Now, you don't want to flash the side, because sometimes it can be seen that that's 2 cards if they see a side angle. So you want to show them the face, okay? You put a bend in it, and then you place it on top of the pack. And what you're going to do is you're going to peel that card off. Okay, so you're going to basically grab the bottom half of the deck with your left hand, and you're going to peel the bent card, or one of the top bent card off. And you say, look, you can clearly see that bend right there. And you raise this closer to their eye level so that they can clearly see the bend. Okay, now their card is actually here, it's also bent. So I'm going to apply pressure with my finger here so that it remains flat and they can't see the bend. Okay, and then you can dribble these cards on top. Now you really want to build this moment, because this is just so powerful if you do it right. They can still see the bent card in the middle. You say, look, it's still in the middle. You can see that bent card. And now you're going to hold the deck like this. So you're holding in such a way that you're kind of gripping the very top card with the tip of your thumb and your ring finger, or not your ring finger, your middle finger with your left hand. And that's hiding the fact that the very top card is bent. Okay, now all you're going to do is you're going to build it up. You say, on the count of 3, I want you to snap your fingers. 3, 2, 1. They snap, and then you just basically release tension with these 2 fingers, your thumb and your middle finger. And that card, I can't really get a good angle here, but maybe you'll see it. You release tension, and boom, it's gonna pop up. It's not gonna fall. You don't want it to fall like that, but it's gonna pop up. Boom. It's very visual. They instantly see it jump to the top, and you say, look, there it is. Your card, the 4 of clubs. Alright, so that's the ambitious card routine. I hope you guys like that. Play around with it, come up with your own presentation maybe. You can add your own phases, you can modify the phases if you'd like, but that's the basis of how I normally do it. Okay? So if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comment section below. And if this video was helpful, thumbs up, all that good stuff. I'll see you next time. Bye guys.